Hello folks, welcome back to Path Bar School here at African Eastern in Dubai, and our fourth and final installment of mastering the sour cocktail with Remy Cointreau. Today we're going to take a little look at the modern classic cocktail, the Penicillin. Via this drink, we're going to explain how you can modify your sour cocktails using bespoke cocktail ingredients. The Penicillin was invented by a bartender called Sam Ross. It essentially is an amalgamation of honey, whiskey, ginger, and Islay Scotch. The original cocktail used a blended Scotch whiskey as its base, but today we're going to be using the Bruichladdich range. This whiskey is from Islay, but it's unpeated. Its bigger brother here, the Port Charlotte, is a peated Scotch we're going to use to float on top to give that cocktail a nose of iodine, salt, peat and spice. In previous videos, we looked at the ratio of the sour. We then looked at modifying the sweet ingredient with a flavor, and then took texture into account. And in this sense, we're going to look at how you can make bespoke cocktail syrups to make a more interesting modern cocktail. We're going to need to make two sweetening ingredients, a honey syrup and a ginger syrup. And I'm going to teach you a very simple way to make both, which is quick, cheerful and easy. There are essentially many ways to make a ginger syrup, but the easiest way is to juice some ginger and add equal parts of that ginger water to castor sugar and heat it up. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. I'm adding 200 grams by weight of castor sugar, 200 grams, in this case 200 mils as well, to our castor sugar, and gently bring that to a simmer. All I want to do is bring it to the point where the sugar dissolves, and that's it. If we heat it up too much, water is going to evaporate and it's going to change the ratio of our syrup. This should be a really quick syrup. We're not wanting to change the ratio by evaporating any water off, and we're not wanting to overboil it and caramelize the sugars. This should taste nice and fresh, zesty and spicy. Making our honey syrup is essentially an easier process. We're not going to heat it up at all. All we're going to do is add equal parts honey to hot water. This is going to integrate it into one harmonious product we can use later, which will pour a little bit easier during service. I'll give it a stir. Finally, once our syrups have cooled down, we can decant them into fresh, clean bottles for service. So again, as with all of our cocktails, we're going to start with our cold glass and the cheapest ingredient first. In this case, I'm going to add 10 mils of ginger syrup. This is going to be half of our sweetener. The next half is going to be our honey syrup, which we just made. So that equals 20 mils of sweetener ingredient. The next is going to be 30 mils of lemon juice. So we have lemon, honey, and ginger, classic combination. And then finally, 60 mils of our beautiful unpeated Islay whiskey. Once we've done that, we can shake it up, get it into our glass, and put the finishing touches on. Finally, we're going to double strain the cocktail onto a nice solid rock and then add our garnish. This garnish is going to be a little float of some beautiful peated Islay whiskey. That's going to add to the flavor profile of lemon, honey, ginger and whiskey, that beautiful smokiness we know oh so well. Today we're using Port Charlotte, again from Bruichladdich. And just to measure that across the top of our ice cube, we're just going to dribble it on with a spoon. And that is our modern classic cocktail, the Penicillin. Thank you very much for joining me on our journey through the sour cocktail, and we'll see you again for the next series.